Hello, hello, and welcome to the first episode, the first podcast of the Bar Corner. I am Jeremy Forney, as you can tell, fan of the greatest team in, well, definitely Italy, and mostly the world. Italian fan, as you can tell. Here to discuss, with a couple of friends that know a little bit about football, our knowledge and break down some of the things that we know about football in the Bar Corner. With me, I have Chris and Omar. Chris, tell us about yourself.
I mean, we're off to a really bad start. The fact that you're discussing how amazing AC Milan are, it immediately takes away all of our credibility right here. So we're off to a winning start. My name is Chris Logan, originally from the UK. I've been a Liverpool fan for 33 years. So I've been a happy Liverpool fan for about 5 years of the 33. Grew up in the UK. I've been in the USA for about 23 years now, working with the soccer industry, most recently of which I'm working with the amazing, the one and only great Colorado Rapids.
Great Colorado Rapids. Omar.
Uh, Huge fan of Barcelona. Been a fan since I was 11 years old. So for about past 15, 16 years now. I got into them right in their golden age, and then kind of took a little downturn. But then we came back up, and then it's just been terrible ever since. Uh, I currently live in Texas, from Houston originally. Now I'm in San Antonio. I'm active duty military. I don't have any 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 sort of history of soccer like Chris or Forney do, but I've been watching it pretty much every day for the past 16, 17 years. So I feel like I know a little bit.
That's fine. We bring you on here more for the banter than for any kind of soccer knowledge,
Yeah,
anyway. Thanks.
let me come back to what Chris was saying about being a happy Liverpool fan for the past 5 years. Are you excluding the past 4 or 5 months where y'all been absolutely terrible?
Look,
They're practically not living
look,
these past four.
you know, I'm I'm still living on the euphoria of winning the Premier League, so it's okay. We're just living in a haze of we're still champions right now, so we'll take that. Um,
You got to take
aren't
all the
we
small little
unbeaten?
victories.
Aren't we unbeaten in like 7 games too?
Did you guys not come out of like a 10 losing streak?
Look, if we're talking
No,
about the here and now, I'm just saying, like
you worry about
we're
the
unbeaten for like
past.
7 games.
If we're talking about the past, AC Milan has a good past, but in their present, they're terrible as well. So
We're just giving the world a break. That's all it is. I mean, we win the Champions League 7 times. We're dominating in Serie A. We just have to give the world a little bit of a break. We get our
I thought you only
billionaire
had
tycoon
A
that
little
buys
bit of a
everything
break.
else.
It's
Huh?
been quite a long break.
I
y'all
mean,
haven't
it's
been
short.
y'all haven't been relevant since I was in middle school, Forney.
Well, it's a relatively longer break than expected. We're just getting our legs, giving the world time to breathe before, full domination again. I mean, just wait until Kamada steps in onto the field. It's going to be like the new Shevchenko.
So who steps on the field?
Kamada.
Can you spell
Can you say
that?
that like a normal person?
Oh, let me put it into the British side. Kamada. Kamada.
He sounds like you're excited about him. I don't know who that is.
Well, he's basically better than Yamal, but 17 or 18 now. You just
Your
got to
mom's
wait for him to
18.
get out of. You got to wait for him to get out of Lecce first, and then join Milan, and then maybe score some goals, and then
I mean,
eventually he'll.
that's why he looks good. He's in the Italian league. He can't do that in no other league. I guarantee it.
Like
Right.
Scott
Well,
McTominay.
Scott McTominay, bench warmer in United, starter, and what didn't he win the Serie A Player of the Season last year?
Did.
Uh,
it's
it's
true value. It's true
just goes to
value. The
show the
Prem does
Serie
not
A's.
know how to value players. The Prem does not know how to value players. Cash money, cash grabs. I mean, look at Kyle Walker. He went from Manchester City winning everything to go sitting bench warmer in AC Milan. What was he on that one?
Where's he at now?
Hmm.
Was it? It starts with the B. Not Brentford.
Bournemouth.
No, not Bournemouth. Well, who's he with now?
See
Some kind of
Burnley.
Burnley.
English team.
Burnley.
Burnley. Yeah, he's with Burnley. Terrible team, but
Not as
lost his
bad as
leg.
Man United.
got old with age, lost his legs, can't sprint, can't keep up. But speaking of Man United,
Oh. Speaking of Man United and Chelsea, both sacked
yeah,
coaches.
I think that they're a prime example of why running a football club as a business rather than a sporting club does not work because Chelsea more than Man United, Chelsea has been investing in youth, hoping to turn a profit on them later on. But to turn a profit, they have to have results showing that the players are progressing, getting better. Not only that, that the players can fit into a system. And while they had a coach like Maresca who could make work what he had at hand, he couldn't show progression for any particular player. And even Cole Palmer, who they, for whatever reason, voted into the FIFA Pro 11 of the year, he hasn't scored since what, October, I think. And even then, I think that was a penalty. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I don't think Man United is going to be smart in their decision making because it sounds like they're bringing back Ole, which is a terrible decision. But let's see what happens.
No, I find it crazy that Amorim essentially just went, well, Maresca just quit. So I'm just going to talk about my team and make them sound terrible and just wait for the axe too. It's going to happen. So
No,
just,
he definitely went scorched earth on it.
oh, yeah.
You could definitely tell he was to the breaking point where he said, you know what, either fire me or keep me, but I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore. And 24 hours later, he was relieved of duty.
Didn't they catch
It's
him and his
crazy
wife
thing.
just happily walking the dog like into the city? Like, oh, yeah, this is
Well,
great.
I think his buyout is somewhat of $10 million. So you're gonna tell me he went into a job? Yes, he was stressed out for what 9, 10 months, but now he's getting paid to just sit on the couch for the next couple of months until he finds another position. I mean, I wouldn't be upset at that either.
No.
Especially now, I don't have to coach Man United anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no kidding.
that's a blessing itself.
Yeah,
I mean, did you not think it's weird that the last two Premier League managers of the month were Maresca and Amorim,
Yo,
and
both
now they're
fired.
both gone.
and they
Both gone.
both and they both gave their teams the best season they've had in what 6 years, 6 seasons, 5 seasons.
Definitely not Emery.
Yeah, Amorim was not good.
Well, Man
He
United
finished
has
in,
not been good, just
he finished in
period.
15th last season.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
They're just Man United are just resting and giving the world a rest, like some other big clubs are. They're just giving the world a rest at the moment.
I think Man United is just trying to say, you know what, we don't want to deal with Man United fans. Like that's the biggest boss. Just get rid of the Man U fans and we're good.
The I mean, I think that you've seen it more and more though, where like you look at Maresca, you look at Amorim. I know Conte did it a few years ago, where they're getting so annoyed by the politics off field within the club. Where Amorim even said he goes, "I want to be a manager. I don't just want to be the coach." And I think
Yeah.
it's become so segregated where they don't have the authority outside of generally just coaching the team, and they're getting frustrated with the higher ups that they're not getting to have more of a part in the bigger pieces of the puzzle with running the organization. I think that it's becoming more and more frustrating that they're becoming more coaches than just managers, and I think that that's becoming kind of an issue where a lot of them are kind of being vocal about it now. That it's
Yeah.
it's not it's not them running the team, the
I, I,
organization.
I think that the biggest partnership that you need to have in a club is between the sporting director and the manager because those two, the sporting director will go out and decide who they purchase, but that's based on what the manager says they need. So while the manager might say, "Hey, we need, I don't know, a fullback," and he gives out a player that he wants, like a Kyle Walker in his prime, the sporting director say, "Hey, well, that's fine and dandy, but we can't afford him. So we'll get you this player. How does this fit?" And if he gets him a player that doesn't fit his system, then you run into the situation we had Amarim, for example, where he's saying that he wants to be the full time manager, not just a coach. So I think Man United is just going to keep on turning coaches in and out, and I don't think they ever will get it situated until they figure out who they want to be as a club, which is sad to say because for the longest time they didn't have that issue with Alex Ferguson. But you're not always going to get those one in a lifetime managers like that puts their foot down and says, "Hey, stop with the bullshit. This is how it's going to go because I said it or I said so." So I don't know. It's interesting,
But it's
but
definitely been a growth, a definite trend with a lot of teams where they're just getting random players. Teams are shelling out 50, 60 million now for a player. And then management goes, well, I bought you this player. I want you to play him. We want the
Yep.
value up. And you can definitely see it with Chelsea. It was all about player value, not even about where they're going to get into the league. And even finding coaches that work well with their sporting directors to go and buy the players that they actually need. I mean, I'm going to go back to even with Milan with their transfer season when Paolo Maldini was there and Pioli needed a left back, he needed center back, he needed midfielders and strikers. Who do you get? Teo Hernandez. You bring in Rafa Leao. You bring in Salemakers. You bring in players that are actually going to fit the system, and all of the ones that they bought under that regime are the ones that are still starting. Then you go to all the rest of them where they just went, well, you need a striker? How about we just get you Nkunku? That'll work. I don't know for what, but sure. When Alex Allegri really all he wanted was, a Rabiot for cheap. But we went and spent 35 million on Nkunku. We went and spent 35 million on Jashari to sit the bench, and then we just get Luka Modric and Rabiot on the cheap.
Yeah, I think signing a 41-year-old midfielder at the end of his career was a great decision. I don't think there was a better option on the market for y'all.
Hey, Milan has the history. When we're struggling, we bring in the 4-year-olds. We did that with Zlatan. We did that now with Luka Modric. We tried to do that before with Kaká and Shevchenko, and on their second returns. Milan just wants to bring back the good old days.
I think that every club has their own identity, and at this point, AC Milan is just known as a retirement club. So good for y'all, giving the old people a chance. Who knows? Maybe they sign Chris next. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
I mean, I'm in the age range.
I think you're a little too young. A little too young. You're not old enough yet.
The good thing is, at least Milan can say we have a Ballon d'Or winner on our field.
Whoa.
At least we can say that. Where's Barcelona's Ballon d'Or?
I mean, you can tell when we have our best players, we're one of the best teams in the world. I think the game against Athletic Bilbao was a sign of the potential we have when we're all firing on full cylinders. But the thing is, I think last year against Inter Milan, we were missing Lewandowski. We were missing. I think Koundé got injured in the game, and then Valde got injured. So we were playing Martin and Eric Garcia as our fullbacks. Which, I mean, Martin is a great center back for whatever reason. Flick decided to start him there this season for a couple games, and in those games he started as a center back. We were undefeated. Eric Garcia, he's played every single game this season so far, and he's been amazing for us so far. He played defensive mid, center back, right back, left back, you name it. The only position he hasn't played is attacker. But yeah, he's been great. But I think Sunday's gonna be very interesting show to see, because earlier this season when we played Madrid, we were missing a lot of our starters, and this Sunday we should be at full potential. So hopefully it'll be somewhat reminiscent of what happened last year where we beat them 5-2. I'm actually watching the game on the TV right now, but it'll be interesting to see. I'll probably go sit at a bar somewhere and watch it.
So you're
going to go to a bar?
Yeah,
Shocking.
I asked permission yesterday if I could go. If I could go out. I put on my nicest face and I made dinner for her. I said, "Hey, you mind if I go out Sunday? Because I want to watch a game." She's like, "Well, you can just watch it here." I said, "Yeah, but it's funner at a bar." So
it's cheaper at home.
Yeah, it's much cheaper at home. Not paying $7 for a beer.
Yeah, different world right now from the days where Forney could just roll up to Buffalo Wild Wings at 11 a.m. and just go grab a beer.
11, that's late. Remember the day of the World Cup final? We showed up at 10.
We were there at 10:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock. We were there for breakfast.
Yeah, we were there at 10:30.
How many times did Buffalo Wild Wings only open for us? Like, shut for everybody else, turn on the TVs. At least three or four times.
Too many times.
It's definitely too many. But we were grateful for it.
Grateful for the post-COVID reactions of being able to watch soccer all day.
Yeah, what was the day where Man United lost like 5-0 to someone who was like Spurs or something, and we were I was in a good mood, and then later that day Villa thrashed Liverpool 7-2.
They lost.
I remember that being, yeah.
I think they lost 6-0. Man United lost 6 or 7-0, and then Tyler was there. I remember him laughing, and then the Liverpool game came on, and it started getting ugly. And I was hoping and praying that they would score 8 goals on y'all, just for the fact that
Hate to see
earlier
it.
that year, yeah, earlier that year was when Barcelona got beat by Bayern. So I was hoping and praying, but I mean, y'all lost 7-3. Still embarrassing to an Aston Villa team who had what Jack Grealish and who else was in their team at the time? I
All I
can't
remember was it
recall.
was embarrassing.
That
It,
was
it was
embarrassing.
a great time. I remember Tyler was ordering shots. He was he was trying to mentally leave there. It
I don't
was
think he was
hilarious.
there at all.
No.
So at least we were entertaining back then. I feel like that's gone out the window these days with slot ball the last several months. Liverpool are not entertaining to watch anymore.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, last year y'all had a good team, and this brings us into the next discussion. When you spend 575 million in a single transfer season, you have all these new players come in, hoping and praying that they fit into your system, and they don't have enough time to acclimate to what you're asking for. This is the result, right? Because you signed Isak, who's the guy you got
Hurts,
from Frankfurt,
Benteke.
the yeah, Inteke, Wirtz. Who else did y'all get? Y'all got a lot of players for a lot of money. And the thing is, they're all individually amazing players, but do they fit into the system in which y'all play as a team? I don't believe so. And as a result of that, y'all are relying on the players y'all had last season, but y'all lost. Who did y'all lose over the transfer season? Alexander Arnold, and help me out. Who else did y'all lose?
We lost Darwin Nunes.
Well, can't say you're missing much there, but
I, I also think there's a direction. So for me, it's with Klopp, Liverpool were all about intensity, fast tempo play, and Slot seems to last year we had a good year, but I think the league was generally down.
yep,
And I think that when we watch Liverpool look to slow the tempo of the game and have a lot more control of the ball, and I think that that way of playing just is different than what the existing core group of players were used to under Klopp. And as a fan, I just feel like it's less entertaining. It's more predictable. They go sideways a lot more, and it's just slower and it's just not as entertaining. When Liverpool had a bad year under Klopp, one thing you could guarantee is they were always still entertaining. Whereas right now they're having a bad year, and it just looks like that some of the energy's been sapped out of them. Look at
yep.
the best performance of the season, probably the Real Madrid game, and it was fast. The tempo was really quick. The running was really hard. There was sprinting everywhere, and it looked like a Klopp team. And all of a sudden, it's gone backwards to this kind of slow, kind of almost more methodical way of playing, so to speak. And I just don't know if it suits the way that a lot of these players are. But I think the integration of the new players is certainly something to do with it too. But as a fan, at the very least, I think that we at least want to be entertained by what we're watching, and it is not entertaining right now.
Do
And
you
I think
think
that
when
that's
y'all
an issue.
do you think when y'all played that Real Madrid game, because that was when y'all were going through that tough spell? Do you think that when y'all played the game, there was an extra emphasis on beating them because of the fact that Alexander Arnold was there?
I
Just
bet
to
there
just
was
to
some
just
motivation.
to just to give them the finger, just like tell them, hey, this is who we are. We're still beating you, even if you're not here. Do you think that was the extra motivation in the fact that y'all won that game? And I think that was the stretch in which y'all lost what six or five games.
I mean, it certainly could have been a point of motivation, but they just looked so up for that game, and it just looked like Liverpool again. You're like, where's this
Yeah.
team been? And so, at the start of the season, though, you kind of thought, first game of the year when we beat Bournemouth, 2-0, cruising. Bournemouth come back tied 2-2, 20 minutes left, and we go down the field and just score two. And like, okay, this team's going to be able to score whenever they need to. And turns out
Mhm.
that's not been the case. So I just think that uh, we just look a bit lost right now in terms of our identity compared to what we did under Klopp. And that's been unfortunate because as a fan, you wanted that successor to continue on with what Klopp was doing. So it's been a little bit disappointing, but definitely the newbies as well coming in, with the adjustment and everything. I think Verts has had to get adjusted to the speed of the Premier League and the physicality, for sure.
Wait,
And then
fine.
Kirk as at left back is not like watching him against Arsenal yesterday. I mean, he gets beat down the side 3 or 4 times. Like he's not a good defender at the moment. So I don't know. He seems like he's a suspect sign.
Is he that much? is he that much better than Robertson, or is Robertson just injured right now?
I think Robertson's the better left back right now. Kirk gets beat way too easily. So I don't know what he brings, what value he brings on which side of the ball yet.
No, I think the only way you bench Robertson for him is if you feel like Robertson's losing a step or two in age, because Robertson's what 31 now, 30.
You think
He's
he's older
he's
than
he's not as young as he used to be, obviously. So I think that that'd be the only rational reasoning as to why you make that decision to bench him in favor of him. But who knows? Who knows what goes through their minds when they come up with these lineups?
I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely not fun though.
the
No,
coach all of a sudden has just been given a plethora of new players, trying to fit them in. Management telling them they got to play them. Pressure on the
I, I'm
players.
I'm also curious if that was his doing and saying, "Hey, I want these players," or if that was the board deciding, "Hey, we have this influx of money, we have to spend it somehow." I wonder. I'm really curious as to how that decision making went down. If it was more on the coach saying he needed these players, or if that was just the board saying, "Hey, we're going to get you these players."
I think
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a, it's a,
I think you look at Frimpong and go, Frimpong had to come in at right back because we'd lost Trent.
Right.
And then you look and go, Robertson's getting on a bit, so we need another left back. So you bring in Kirkes. But yeah, I think in the midfield and up top, I don't know if it was just feeling like they needed a little bit more reinforcements. I can see through the middle like why you needed a nine with Ekiteke or Isak. I think we did need more of a true niner. I think Nunez was the answer. So I think bringing in a goal scorer. But yeah, I mean, and with Salah getting older as well, but at some point you're gonna have to address that somehow. Yesterday against Arsenal, I think they played Frimpong out wide on the right, and they just had him as a
Yep.
true winger. Uh,
Mhm.
but I think that they still need to figure out what's going to click up top. I think they should just play a two front. They should just put up right now uh, Isak and Ekiteke when they're both fit. But then the problem is where do you play Salah? You know, how
Yeah,
do you
because he's
fit
not gonna
him in?
play. He's not gonna play the right side of midfield. That's for sure. He's not.
No,
He's
no,
not the type to track back.
but right now he's not
no.
playing anything at all. Right now
Well,
he's been
he's in
exonerated, benched, and left behind.
no. Right now he's in the Africa Cup of Nations.
That too, but before that, I mean, the rift between him and Slot was
He was
essentially just
slowly.
benching them and forcing them out wide because they were just getting at it for some reason, and
He was slowly coming back
that
into
was
the team.
just
He
as
was.
Liverpool was starting to hit that downslope of constant losses, and Salah getting benched, not playing, and it comes down to even with all of these influxes, and this is something then Chris, you as a coach probably has seen where you have a player that you may disagree with, but he's still your 10-year player that's constantly showing and providing goals with an influx of new players. Do you really risk that splitting or that rift of the core players by benching somebody who's essentially your star, your top scorer, game changer, while there's a whole bunch of new players that are still trying to figure out where they fit into this system, into this game? I mean, is it even as a coach, is it something smart that you actually go and jump into and say, you know what, I'm the coach, I'm the gaffer here. This is how it's going to be.
I think it comes down to expectations too, and I think this is what we were talking about earlier. Is it just so much player power now that you can't? Because if a player is significantly underperforming, like Salah has been, then at some point you have to say, okay, I need to give someone else a go. You're not performing, or you're playing so many minutes at your age. Maybe we need to rest you a little bit so you've got higher energy levels for other games, and we can help avoid injury. But yeah, I mean, I think a fully fit Salah, like he has to play his position. You have to play a front three and figure out what it looks like around that. But with the way he's been playing this year and he's not been on, I would say, do you play the two nines that you have as two strikers? And figure out what it looks like behind that, which I think they did in one of the Champions League games. I think they played one of the more recent away games in Champions League. I think they were playing a 4-4-2 with a diamond, and they were just trying to overload the midfield. And we won the game, and it looked fairly promising with the two up top. So something that certainly I think that they're looking to play around with in the future.
Yeah.
Isn't one of the strikers injured right now? Isn't Isak injured right now?
He's
Yeah.
that broke his leg. Yeah,
Oh,
Slightly injured.
so
yeah.
you won't have the issue of where is he going to play right now.
I even
So
think
he'll
he can
be
play. You can play Salah in the front too, though. Like I know Klopp occasionally would play Salah through the middle in the 4-3-3. So I think Salah could figure it out. He's a good enough player. He'll drift more to the right side, which in the front two you can drift to the sides anyway. So I think he'd be able to do it. But I think it just depends on his again. He's got to come in and perform because we haven't seen the best of him yet this year.
Do you think, because isn't Liverpool going to bring in somebody to not replace Isak, but essentially to cover up for the rest of the season for him? But is Liverpool, do you think Liverpool is going to jump anywhere in the transfer market to do anything to make
So
changes?
apparently we're according to that Fabrizio Rom, um, guy, they're looking at signing a 17-year-old Senegalese centre back, left sided centre back. So I don't know if that's just to provide extra cover or what. It's not really going to be the answer right now. And Van Dijk and Konate are constantly being exposed. I think it would have been awesome if they got Gahey, but it doesn't sound like they're going to go for him in the transfer window. So I don't know. I think we're just kind of treading water at this point because of all the money that we spent in the summer. It's like we're going to have to figure it out.
I mean, when you spend five, like Omar said, 570 million, you kind of have some expectations for the players and
Oh,
run out what they have.
it's madness. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know where you start. I feel like when you've spent that much money and you put in all these players, you have to kind of fix your house first rather than bringing in others from outside. Like you're going to have to find a way to get more out of Frimpong and Verts and Kirkits. Like you're just going to have to. Like you need to find a way to. You've spent all this money on them. You've got to find a way to increase their performance level. So to me, I think we've got to fix the group we have, but I think we have to fix the identity of the team. I think they have to get back to this is who we are and what we're going to do, and they look lost right now. So I think as a fan, I would want to see that core identity come back of the team and that intensity and the speed of the play and start there, fixing it within to begin was the way I would go.
Mhm.
And then the question is Slot actually the coach that can be able to reinstill, the energy? Because I feel like even last season when they did play, they kind of played more off the back of what Klopp had already created. This is his
Yeah.
first big insight, his big money splash to create and force his game style. And now is he actually able to create a team dynamic? Because we know that there's coaches that like Zinedine Zidane that really kind of played off of a team built before, was just able to play with the players he had, did great. But then you have the coaches that are actually able to go and develop and build.
Oh yeah, no. I think that if Klopp was Liverpool manager last year, I think we were in the league with more points. I think we won the Premier League with the least amount of points in years. So I think that just shows that the league was kind of down, and we kind of took advantage. Like Man City had a bad year, that's why we won it really. And I think that now it's one of those where the league's maybe rebounded a little bit, and yeah, Slot's going to have to show how good a manager he is now. And yeah, I
But
mean, it's a
no, I
pretty
guess,
big shadow.
huh?
It's a pretty big shadow that Klopp's left. It's
No,
it's
no.
it's a monumental task. So I don't know. I think we're going to find out here in the coming months how good a manager Slot is. But I'm of the opinion we give him some time. He did win the Premier League with us. Give him time. Let's see if we can rediscover whatever identity he's looking to create with all these new players, and let's go from there. Let's be patient with it. He won us the league. Let's give him this season for some grace and see if long term he can find the solutions.
Yeah, but I think the Prem as a whole, especially with the amount of money that's being pumped into every single team. I mean, not just Man United and Chelsea, which are the struggle buses, but you look at Arsenal pumping in a tremendous amount of money. You see Newcastle, you see Nottingham Forest, you see all of these teams that normally aren't much, but the Prem has 10, 15 teams that can spend over 200 million on a transfer season. You're gonna
I'm
find
gonna,
those.
I'm gonna step in. Don't include Nottingham Forest in there. Just because they can spend money doesn't mean that they're great.
I
They
didn't
had
say
a
that.
great
I didn't
they
say
had
they
an
were.
they had a great season last year, and then they fired their coach. Now look at them; they're in the bottom 10. So I wouldn't consider them in that group.
I'm not
Newcastle,
considering Nottingham
Newcastle,
Forest
yes,
or Man United or Chelsea great teams. What I'm saying is that they can still splash 200 million and cause an upset when it does come. It's not just, what was it a few years ago? Wolves, as they just entered the Prem, had a bigger transfer budget than than every team other than the top three or two in Serie A. Like AC
well,
Milan, AC Milan had a lower budget than Wolves, and Wolves had just walked into the Prem. But what I'm saying is, essentially, these teams can just buy anybody. And because everybody looks at price tag, not talent, they're kind of like, oh, 50 million? Oh, well, that's going to be a good player. And they just buy based on price tag, essentially. And so they bring in all of these. And the Prem now is the deepest league in terms of teams. You have Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea. Occasionally now you have teams randomly jumping up the line. You have Newcastle always being a challenge. I mean, it's not
Isn't
an easy
Aston
league.
Villa in third or second right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a strange year. I'm curious to see where they finish. There, I don't think they'll win the title, but I think Arsenal's going to slip up, and it'll probably come down to Man City or Liverpool because
I'm just
Arsenal's going
upset.
to slip up.
I'm just upset that Liverpool is having such a terrible season, but every other team up top has decided, you know what? We'll do bad too. Here's a
As
spot in the
well,
Champions League, Liverpool.
the
It
thing
was
is, as
great
terrible
for
as
them.
they're doing, they're still in fourth place.
I
So
know
how
that's
bad of a season is it? Is that to show that even in a bad season for Liverpool, their standard is so high, or that the rest of the league is struggling that much this year as well? So you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
They're all taking points off of each other, but I think the Nottingham Forest thing's a great point where they're having this great year, but they pumped all this money in, and then the owner's mad at Nuno that they might miss out Champions League rather than being grateful for we're significantly overachieving with what we're doing with this season, but instead it's been ungrateful because well we spent this money and I'm the owner, so I'm going to get so I get to be mad. So it's that same ownership overstep that we were talking about earlier, where it's creating such a rift between administrations and coaching staffs that it's creating a lot of bad blood, and it's not providing these clubs with being in this going in the same direction because everyone's at odds and in battle because of disagreements about where we should be going or what we should be doing. So it's just another sign of how these owners are overstepping, and it's creating all sorts of confusion and differences in expectations in these clubs.
yeah.
That's why I feel like that's why I almost feel like the Premier League should follow the model that the league La Liga has, whereas there are no owners, they're just presidents. You get voted in, and then you're able to do whatever you want with that. Not necessarily whatever you want with that club, but within some constraints. And if the fans feel like you're not doing enough with the team, or you're not doing a good enough, or you're not doing a good job, they can vote you out. So I feel like the Premier League would probably benefit from that too, because I guarantee you, if Man United had that model, they would have changed presidents, 3-4 times by now. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
but it's not just about the presidents. I mean, you look at the systems that they try and do to protect other systems. Financial fair play was there to try and balance things out. But if a team already has the biggest budgets, biggest fan bases, tremendous amount of money, that's stopping other teams from being able to develop and create the teams that are going to be able to challenge. It creates that floor.
Not
You look at
necessarily
but
because
you look at
hold
Barcelona.
on, because you can't use financial fair play and large teams with budgets as an excuse as to why other teams can't challenge. Because I'll take you back to 2018 when Leicester City won the league. Look at their budget. It's not
it's
about
it's
spending the most.
gonna
It's about
happen. It's
building a
gonna
team that
happen. It's
works.
gonna happen occasionally. But what it did is it created a bigger gap from the rest of the leagues and the rest of the teams that couldn't do it unless you're the Prem and some owner like Nunez or is just gonna pump in 250 million. Newcastle, the same thing. That's where the money is. But even with La Liga, you have Barcelona that can pull how many levers right now that they can pull that other teams wouldn't even like. They turn into financial crisis. Barcelona is just sitting there like at a bar tap, pulling levers down, filling up beer and just saying, well, we got out of this slump. You can't, no other team in La Liga can do that. So
As much as we struggled financially, if you look at us right now, the the level that we're playing at, I am more than satisfied with, given the situation we were in 5 years ago when Xavi took over. If you were to tell me 5 years ago, hey, you're gonna be in the semifinals of the Champions League, minutes away from making the final, I would be happy with that. And I mean, we won 3 trophies last year, given it was a domestic treble, but still, we won La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and then the Super Copa. So I mean, it's yeah, we've done some shady things and pulling levers and things like that, and we're gonna give up some money for the next 25 years to be competitive now. But eventually, we're gonna find our way back on that high horse, and we're gonna be challenging for Europe once again. Like I think this year we'll make a pretty deep run. Will we win it? I don't think so. Just because the high line thing, I think the high line he needs to either I think he might run into the issue with that Ruben had at Man United. You gotta adjust your system to what you're playing against. And I think if we had stopped playing the high line against Inter Milan last year, we probably could have won that game. If we would have just sat back and absorbed some pressure a little bit, I think that Cherby doesn't score on us, and we're in the final. Will we win that final against PSG? Probably not, because they were a great team. So I don't know.
Yeah. On that note, we know that Barcelona can pull any lever, and then they get lucky with an academy that pulls out 6 of their starters
Amazing
currently.
players.
I mean, talk
Amazing
about the
players.
worst. For the rest of the world, we're watching, hoping Barcelona does their cave in for all of their poor financial decisions, and nothing happens. And
Just
Liverpool go through a terrible season, and we're
look at
all
look
hoping
at
to see
our
it collapse.
look at our team right now. How many of those players came through the youth academy? Yamal, Eric Garcia, Gavi,
Pedri.
Fati. No, Pedri did not.
Did he not? I thought he came through.
No, we bought him from Las Palmas for, I think we bought him for 5 million, which is a steal for the player that he is. But like if you look at our bench, our starting lineup, maybe 10 players came out of our youth academy.
Yeah.
And then you look at all the players that in the past came through our youth academy. I don't think there's a club out there that competes with us.
Well,
We're
definitely going to see. We're definitely going to see how the rest of the season goes, and with the transfer season starting to open up, and the first games halfway through, we're going to have plenty to talk about in the next coming rounds. But that essentially is the conclusion. So I think we've ended up fixing some of Liverpool's issues. I don't know about Barcelona at this point when their next cave in. But to everybody that was able to sit in, thank you for sharing, participating in the very first Bar Corner chat with me, Jeremy Forney, Chris Logan, and Omar Gaitan. So stay tuned. Listen in for the next chat that we're going to be able to go and fix some other league problems. I think we're going to be jumping into some Serie A English Premier League differences. So hope everybody has a great day, and we'll tune in next time.